Let's start with Instacart first. Are they on the hook? I mean, does she have a case against Instacart?
Well, her case against Instacart is that she got the wrong order, meaning not the wrong food, she got the wrong driver. She was expecting a middle-aged woman named Merle, and she got this young guy wielding a gun. She says Instacart should be liable, but here's the problem, Jesse. Her complaint is 11 pages long. Instacart's terms and conditions are 22 pages long. They contain an arbitration provision, a pretty serious limitation on liability, and expressly provide that Instacart has no liability for third-party providers, meaning the drivers.
But okay, if you're, I don't know, what does that mean in terms of the driver getting something wrong with your order, not the shooting the dog?
Well,
I mean, don't they have an obligation about who they hire and who they employ?
Sure, I think that's her best argument, that they have an obligation on who they employ, especially if they're sending the wrong person, right? She's expecting a middle-aged woman named Merle. Who is this guy, and how did he end up on her doorstep, and why did he have a gun? Instacart says no guns. Instacart says we do background checks, and yet this happened.
What about the driver? You know, he's claiming self-defense. I had no choice. This dog's coming after me. Is he on the hook for with Angie Harmon?
I mean, it sounds like a pretty easy case against the driver. There's no evidence that I've heard of that this dog did anything aggressive towards him. There's no evidence of a bite. There's no evidence that he tried to get away from it before shooting. So if all he did was shoot first and ask questions later, he's in some trouble.
But does she have an obligation to make sure that her dog is, you know, locked up or is on a, you know, somewhere not in a position to go after the driver when she knows people are coming to her house?
Everybody's got an obligation to behave reasonably. So if your dog has behavior problems, then you got to put it on a leash or put it in the house or do something. But if your dog is a nice dog that's never caused a problem in your whole life or the dog's life, you're not on notice. It's not, you don't expect to do anything more to restrain the dog.
I think she's suing for $25,000. Is this really about the money, or is it more about the principle?
The $25,000 is just a jurisdictional minimum to get in this court. She's suing for punitive damages, but I don't believe for a minute she's after the money. I think she's trying to make a message here. I think she's upset. Somebody came to her home on Easter Day and shot her dog in front of her children. I understand her being angry about that.
Yeah, it's a really, really sad case. So real quick, you don't think that she would agree to a settlement? She would want to take this to trial, prove a point?
I don't know. It sounds like she wants to prove a point,
Right.
So the settlement would have to include some kind of formal apology and statement.
It's a really sad case. I feel terrible for her. I mean, she was hysterically crying, and I feel really bad for the family losing a dog, but losing a dog this way, really tough. So we'll see where it goes. Richard Schoenstein, good seeing you.
Great to see
Thanks
you,
so much.
Jesse.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.